most recent miscarriage, but I hate to say this, but I feel like at this point we're like pro. Not say per se, but like I have to tell myself that it's not my fault. Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is Ida and
Wait,
Nathan.
Are you filming all that?
Yeah. Stop. What?
Alright, sorry, go ahead, go.
We're back again to talk about how we are dealing with our miscarriage.
Or we deal with miscarriage in general or most recent miscarriage?
Well, most recent miscarriage, but I hate to say this, but I feel like at this point we're like pro at this. So we've been kind of dealing with this for a while. So I guess overall I've been pregnant 7 times. We have 2 babies. So, and then, or was it 8 times? To be honest, I kind of lost count. But this is my 5 miscarriage, 1 ectopic.
2 ectopics. Or this wasn't.
This one was. They thought it was, but it's not.
Okay, never mind.
So 1 ectopic. Thank God. So to start off with, I just want to like get it out there that we feel extremely blessed because at one point we thought we couldn't have kids, but we have 2 beautiful boys. So we are very, very happy in our hearts.
So of those 5, 4 happened before we had kids?
Yes. So this is the only one we've had since we've actually been married. Yeah.
So it was a very different feeling on that side of it.
Yes. It was so different.
Yeah.
And
it's a very different feeling for me personally from one pregnancy to the next.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of depending on how long it goes, right? That's a big thing. Like the longer you go, obviously you're gonna get more and more excited and more and more, and you know, more and more anticipation and things like that. So that can make it tougher to deal with. Like a miscarriage at 3, 4, 5 months is going to be much harder to deal with than like one at 2 or 3 weeks or a month or something. You know, like
so. Since the boys showed up, right? It's been boy number 1, David. That's Leo, and then this pregnancy shows up. So I guess I wasn't, in a way, like that fear that you get when you're pregnant, right? In a way, it's kind of diminished. It wasn't 100% gone. That fear was still there, but it was diminished a little bit. So, you know, it broke me a little bit more. Even though I knew some part of me, I was praying for it not to happen. Of course, it did happen. I think that's what hurt me the most. Just because, like, I haven't experienced it in the past, 5 years. I'm like, okay, you know, this is good. Like, we were doing good. So I think that's what hurt the most. But, you know, to deal with it, I think I struggle with this, to be honest with you. But whenever I had the strength, I think I just prayed a lot. I prayed and asked for strength because I just feel like I just could not do this. And it's a little frustrating to me because I feel like, you know, I spoke to one of my friends about it, and she had made a comment, you know, it's almost like I have kids, I should be okay type thing. And that really hurt. Even if I have 10 kids and I lost 1, that hurts. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, well, your life is good, you have kids, you're fine. Some people don't have any. That's true. But in the end of the day, you still lost a child. Like, that hurts. It doesn't matter if you have 50 kids at home. So I guess my point is that don't tell someone that, like, oh, you already have a kid. No, that's not fine. Anyway, so what we did, so I know personally for me, I took time to grieve. And then whenever I'm grieving, like, I feel like you grieve differently. You know, I think Nathan definitely played a very supportive role, which thank you I love you for being there for me. But I definitely took time to grieve because it was just like a lot for me. I took time to grieve and be sad. I was sad. I don't like to cry, but I did my own, you know, shedding of tears because I just had to do that. I tried to put myself first. I remember when it first happened, I just didn't want to do anything. But like I started taking extra steps to make myself feel good. Like I was sleeping good, I was working out, I was eating whatever I wanted to eat. You know, I was getting pedicures. Like I was really trying to do whatever just to make myself feel better. I spoiled myself. You gave me lots of massages, so that helped. Like it's just whatever he did. Like I think he did a lot. So I got myself very, very busy. I poured myself into work. I was working a lot during that time. I remember like there's one time I worked like 2 or 3 like 12-hour shifts in a row.
So let me ask you this: is that a healthy way of dealing with it?
It's not healthy, no.
No. I don't know if that's like advice you want to be giving.
It's not, but I'm just thinking about how I
Yeah.
dealt with it, or how we dealt with it.
So, and I'd be worried too about so like of the things you just said, the things I think that are like the healthy ways of dealing with it, with like the working out, right, or the
Spoiling yourself.
yeah, spoiling yourself a little bit. Well, even spoiling yourself, you gotta be careful, right? You don't want to go into like a spiral of like, you know, drinking or like eating or eating too much like unhealthy foods so that you're not feeling good, because those things can make you feel worse.
That's true.
Like if every day I'm spoiling myself, eating fast food every day on the way home, then I'm gonna feel even worse, right? Like just because it's gonna make my body feel bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a amount of spoiling yourself that's fine, right? But then also mix it with those other things that were like healthy, like the working out or the you know, relying on your support system, spending more time with family. You know that. I
was gonna say that. Yeah. I definitely, I feel like I relied on you a lot, like very heavily, because I feel like, you know, in times like that, I feel like I'm not strong at all. Like Nathan, like stand strong for the relationship and for the marriage. You know what I mean? Like you stand strong for our kids right now. Like you're there. Your family was a big help, support, right? My mom, you know, praying with me, stuff like that. So all those things help. It's not easy. And I never got to the point where like I got a therapist, but I definitely recommend it. You know, if you're going through a hard time, or even like, you know, child loss, anything like that. I know it's not easy, but if you're doing everything you can, you know, you're not even praying about it. You're trying to do other things to keep your mind busy. You've grieved about it and you're still not happy about it. Definitely get help, like professional help or like therapy, just to help you fight this, because it's not easy. But that's all it is. I wish someone just talk about like how we're pretty much like dealing with it, like, you know, how we've done this, because we've done this like a few times, and I'm really praying to God we don't have to go through this again, because it's a lot to go through, you know. But
so that's one of the things you got to be mindful of. Like anytime you're trying to get pregnant, if you are just starting to try to get pregnant, you know, that's one thing I didn't know before we started getting pregnant, how often pregnancies end in miscarriage, right? Especially early on, like a lot of them do, right? 50% or something?
Yeah, apparently a lot of them do.
Before,
some women don't even know it.
That's it, before people even know, right? And if you are trying to get pregnant and you are being very focused, you are going to know.
Yeah. You're
going to see these pregnancies that show up really early and then go away, and you will notice and know that like, oh, I had a baby and I lost it. Yeah. And I think that's one thing that I learned that helped me is like, okay, you know what? It's supposed to be this way, right? If it's 50% of the time, then that's kind of not. It's not a good feeling, but it, you know, like it is gonna happen this way. I think. But
I think for me, one thing that makes me feel a little bit better is that like naturally, whenever, you know, there's the egg and there's the sperm comes together, they start like dividing all that stuff. If there was any kind of error in the division, which happens quite a bit, naturally it will like stop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's supposed to be like the body is trying to make sure.
Exactly. So in a way, it's protective in a way. You know, that doesn't make it hurt any less. You know, but it is protective, and like in my situation, our situation, like like it's like the percentage of losses is just so much.
It is a lot, and that was the next thing I was gonna say. So if you're gonna be very focused in like tracking these pregnancies and from the very beginning, you're going to notice maybe a little bit more. Yeah. But also, if you are trying to get pregnant, you have to understand there's a risk involved. It's kind of like if you're trying to fall in love, right? So I see people on TV all the time like, oh, I'm so scared to fall in love because I was hurt before, right? I don't want to like fully fall for this guy because I'm afraid he'll hurt me. Okay? But it's the same way with a baby. Like it can get to that point where you're like, I'm not sure I want to try to get pregnant because I'm afraid we're going to lose it again. Yeah. But if you want another baby, you got to make that leap.
Take that risk.
You got to risk the pain, you know. And then whenever it happens, you got to sucks, but you know you got to deal with it. Yeah. And then you know if you are lucky enough to have a child, then you just go hug your child, like you're the ones
hug
you have.
Them really tight and love on them. That's what I do. I do a lot of that.
Yeah, whenever that was, I mean, you talk about what you've done after a miscarriage. You know, just but maybe your kids are part of that support system in a way they don't even know.
Yeah, that's true. They really are a big support system. Like And that's one thing I also wanted to say. I have to not say per se, but like I have to tell myself that it's not my fault. Like I didn't do anything wrong, and I used to play like the blame game a lot. Like I remember with this exact one, I was working out before this even happened, but I remember telling myself, oh, maybe I need to like a weight. Like I was literally doing 5 pounds, like I literally lift, and I've been lifting so much more. But I literally like even I could tell myself like, oh, Ida, maybe you shouldn't go in the gym at all. But it's okay for you to work out, especially if you're working out before you got pregnant. It's okay. But I kept telling myself, maybe I did that. Maybe I did. Like I kept, and like no, it's not like, it's not my fault. It's not anybody's fault whenever this happens. So if you're going through this, just know that it does happen, and sometimes you probably don't even know, but God has a reason for everything. So at this point, I'm just trusting God. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and this is kind of a hard one, but we'll see you in the next video.